evening, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday Wellness. It's great to have each and every one of you on here this evening. My name is Lori Ferraro. I am zooming in from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And I'm really thankful that we are able to gather here on this Zoom and we're able to, hear from a professional who's going to share insights on these products that I'm personally very passionate about. But also, we're just going to hear some health tips, some healthy living tips, and things that you probably didn't know before. So, I want to encourage each and every one of you to have a piece of paper and a pen so that you can take notes. And if there's anything that you did miss, this is a recorded Zoom, so you can always replay the recording and catch whatever that you missed. But I just have to start by saying I'm 52. I am married, and we've been married, my husband Greg and I, for 32 years. Next month will be 33 years. We have two daughters, two son-in-laws, and three little grandsons, a 3-year-old, a 1.5-year-old, and an 8-month-old. So it's been very fun to have three little grandsons. But I have to say, I am very into my health. The older I get, I'm more into wellness and aging gracefully. I want to be around for as long as I possibly can, but not only around. I feel like some people are they're here, but they're really, really struggling. I'm not saying, that sometimes we aren't going to have struggles in our life, but as far as physical struggles and health challenges, I want to keep them at bay the best that I can. I know that they say the average person has 5 prescription drugs in their medicine cabinet. I am hoping that we can help lower that somehow. Just, the more I learn, the more I'm growing in my wellness adventure. I can tell you, I think there's a lot of things that we can do for our body that are just a little bit better. And I watch all these commercials on TV, and first of all, I think back to when I was a kid and there were not prescription drugs commercials on TV. I just find it fascinating that that's even allowed. I'm just like, are you kidding me? And do these commercials make you guys laugh? I mean, I'm just like, they have these people like holding hands walking down the sidewalk and, whatever it may be about some prescription drug. And then they say all these crazy things like, this drug may cause dizziness, vomiting, upset stomach, diarrhea, possible death. And I'm like, and they show this couple just walking and holding hands, smiling. And I'm thinking, well, that sounds terrible. And how many of these prescription drugs do people take to help them with something, and then it causes something else, and now they need another one to help them sleep, and now they need another one to help them wake up and give them energy, and it's just like this ongoing vicious cycle. And I'm not saying there's never a time or a place for a prescription drug. I'm not saying that at all. There's times and places, but man, what if we could curtail some of that? What if we could be a little bit healthier and have things that we put in our body that are just a little bit better for us? That's what I want to do. And like I said, I want to age as gracefully as I can. So I love that we have Dr. Brett on here with us this evening because he is very, very passionate about wellness as well. He's very passionate about helping people and giving them knowledge that maybe they didn't have before, because knowledge is power. And Dr. Brett, he became a chiropractor back in 1984, and then he was in a very serious accident, and he did a little shift in his life and became a physician assistant. He's a family care physician assistant, and I know that these products have helped him to be able to continue in his career without living in immense pain. So we're thankful that these products have been able to help him. But like I said, more importantly, I love how much he is helping so many people and providing so much valuable information and able to share, why are our products so good? Like, what are some of the ingredients in our products? What makes our products good? How do we know they're absorbing? How do we know they're helping our body? So with that, I would like to turn this Zoom over to my friend, Dr. Brett Rosman.
Thank you very much again, Lori, as usual. My name is Dr. Brett Rosman. I am currently a family practice physician assistant. I've been a physician assistant for 30 years now. Um, I will say that um, I have always been into more natural health, but since my accident occurred and I was introduced to the natural products that have totally changed my life. Things are totally different because, as you said, my medicine cabinet is not chock full of prescription drugs. And neither are my family members. But in any case, I do want to say, people ask, what makes your products different from all the others that are out there? Well, unfortunately, most companies that put out quote unquote natural plant-based products, they are not third-party tested. Our products are third-party tested for purity, for absorption, and for effectiveness, which, when you're dealing with something as high quality as we have, unfortunately, you're not going to get them at the price that you get at Walmart or Costco or CVS. Um, but you also don't see the effects or benefits from those products like you do from ours. I'm going to just give a blanket or make a blanket statement that none of these products that we're going to discuss are meant to treat, cure, or mitigate any specific disease process. When you hear the testimonies from the people that you're going to hear from, they're talking from their experience. There is no guarantee that everybody who takes the products are going to have the exact same results. But that being said, there's enough people that are taking the products and seeing the results that we can talk pretty confidently when we recommend to somebody that they try a product, that they're probably going to see some pretty good results. So I will go ahead and turn it over to you, Lori, to bring up our first product.
Okay, I'm excited to do that. And I want to let everyone on this Zoom know, as we go through these products, you're going to hear Doc Brett share on each one. You're also going to hear a testimonial from someone somewhere around the globe, sharing a testimonial on each individual product. But I also want to let you guys know that you're able to get your hands on these products, and there's two ways you can do that. You can pay retail price or you can pay wholesale price. Who doesn't want to pay wholesale price, right? So if you'd like to pay wholesale price, just get with the person who invited you on the Zoom, and they can show you how you can get these wonderful products into your body and at wholesale pricing. So with that, I'll introduce our first product, which is called Vitalité, and it comes in this little box. This drops down, and there's 30 packets for a month's supply in each box. And each morning I start my day, Doc Brett, I just rip this open, dump it in my hand, and drink, swallow it down with a little bit of water. And I love that I can take these on an empty stomach. I love that I can start my day. When I say start my day, I mean start my day. I don't mean eat breakfast and then take them. I mean, I start my day with these. And I love that. I love that it doesn't hurt my stomach. I don't feel nauseous. I don't feel, anything like that. I just feel energized, and I feel good that I know that I got great products into my body. So I'm going to turn it back to you, Doc Brett.
Okay, Lori. Now, our first product being Vitalité is basic nutrition. So especially for somebody who doesn't like eating first part of the day or doesn't have the opportunity, this is a product that is a whole food product and gives us the different nutrients from the different sources that we need. And one of the reasons why you're able to take this product on an empty stomach, as you said, is because this product has digestive enzymes, probiotics, prebiotics, which make it so even though you don't have anything in your stomach that will slow the absorption of this, which is usually what causes the nausea and the other side effects that we don't want. This is the reason why. Now, there were also trace minerals in this, 16 amino acids, a 10 berry blend. There's 10 phytonutrients. There's superfoods rich in chlorophyll. And it's surrounded in a glycoprotein matrix. Now, as you showed, there's 4 capsules that have all of the ingredients except the omega fish oils. Now, these omegas are omega 3, 6, 7, and 9, not just omega 3s, which most other supplements have just omega 3. These omegas come straight from Norwegian salmon. And it's been shown that if you take 1 packet a day for 7 days for the omegas, it's the equivalent of eating 2 full Norwegian salmon. That's how concentrated these omegas are. And you can tell that by the orange color. Most other omegas are yellow, very, very light yellow. Now, these omegas help promote the microbiome. It helps the gut lining. It helps with heart, brain, and eye health and promotes cellular energy. Now, the base comparison, if you will, for any product that is put out is an 8 to 10% absorption. So that's what everything is compared to. Our Vitalité has a 44% absorption. So we're talking more than 4 times standard absorption rate. Now, we also have, with this product, another third-party test that was done, and that is an epigenetic study. We used to say that we can't do anything about genetics. It is what it is. Well, studies and science has now shown that that is not true. Genetics can be affected. And in this case, with the Vitalité, one of the big things that is affected is GLP-1. That is the big thing going around with people for diabetes, with people who are looking to lose weight. Well, this product increases your body's own GLP-1 production by 345%. And that's without an injection. It also shows an 840% increase in the brain-derived neurotropic factor. So cognition is affected tremendously by this. And I believe you have a really great testimony for us.
I sure do. I'm going to turn it over to Kathy.
There we go. You can hear me, right?
Yes, we can, Kathy.
Excellent. I'm Kathy Early. I'm from Blackfoot, Idaho, and I am really grateful for this product. I was diagnosed with diabetes so many years ago but I didn't want to be on insulin. I didn't understand it. I didn't know why A1C was important. All of those things. I was just like, I feel fine. I just have sweet blood. So I ignored it for many years. A few years ago, I started feeling a few minor side effects, tingling toes, and maybe my eyesight not being as good. So when I got on these products, just knowing that, well, my doctor was trying to get me on one of those shots, and I, one, didn't want the side effects. Two, my insurance wasn't going to cover it. So it was going to cost hundreds of dollars a month. With this, and especially after we found out about the epigenetics, I realized, and I'm one of those people that sometimes don't notice things unless somebody brings it out. It's like, oh, yeah. It used to be that first thing in the morning, I was at the refrigerator and all day long. And now taking these Vitalité, I'm not hungry. I still eat, but I feel like the other thing that the doctor told me was that when you get on the shots, you're not going to be hungry. You're going to learn how to eat really small portions. And I was like, well, how can you get the vitamins and nutrients that you need from your foods? If you're only eating this much food, you would have to eat so much food to get all of the nutrients that our body needs. So I feel very confident that this product is helping me not only to keep my cravings. I mean, there's no cravings. I'm not going to the refrigerator all the time. And I feel like with this product, I'm getting the nutrients that I need. So I am more in control of my appetite and can be wiser about the things that I'm putting into my body. And also that um, the absorption rate is so much higher than what you would get over the counter. I feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of this product, and it is saving me from going on the shots. Plus, the really great news is I've lost 24 pounds.
Super. Great testimony, Kathy. Thank you very much. And
Thank
I
you.
will say once again, this is Kathy's story. We are not going to guarantee anybody that they're going to have the same results, but we're pretty confident you'll see some results. And a lot of times people will say like, well, I don't know whether it's working. Well, stop taking it. And that's when you sometimes see, oh my God, it is working, because you suddenly start seeing the difference of taking it versus not taking it. And I think we've got another great product to discuss now.
We sure do. We have our collagen product, and I've noticed, Doc Brett, that collagen is a hot word, and people, a lot of people are taking collagen, they're purchasing collagen, and I've personally found when I ask them, where are you getting your collagen? A lot of people have said to me, like I would say a ton of people have said to me, Costco. And I say, oh, okay, is it a liquid collagen? Oh, it's powder. Is it micronized? I'm not sure. Well, let me tell you, it's not. Is it hydrolyzed? I'm not sure. Well, you probably want to read the container. I just encourage them to read it because, I mean, I've learned so much personally about collagen and realized like it does matter the form it comes in. It matters, a lot of things matter. I'm just going to give it back to you, Doc Brett, but I just want to say we have an amazing tasting liquid collagen, micronized, hydrolyzed in this little sachet pack. You just open up and drink it down.
Yes, we do. Now, our collagen, as Lori just said, is both hydrolyzed and micronized. And why is this important? That's because collagen is a very large molecule and very difficult to absorb. And because of that, our bodies don't absorb most of the collagen that's in the foods that we eat and the supplements. Now, the fish or derived collagen is the most readily available and best absorbed, number one. Most other of the collagens out there that you get at Costco and BJ's and any of those other places are most of the time bovine. Bovine is not very well absorbed. Most people look at it and say, well, it's cheap. Well, cheap is cheap. And once you've had the opportunity to try our collagen, you see the big difference. Now, another major thing with our collagen, and I'll back up a little bit and say another major thing that sets our products ahead of the other competition that's out there is we have advanced delivery systems. Depending on what molecules we're trying to get into the body, good old Dr. Dan adjusts the delivery systems for what's best to get those molecules into the cells. Now, one of the systems that we use is called liposomal delivery, which is basically a fat bubble wrapped around the nutrient that we're trying to get into the system and into the cells, which protects it from being destroyed going through the digestive system. And being that the membranes to all of the cells are fat soluble, the liposome, being fat, is recognized as a friend. It attaches to the cells open up, and the nutrient is deposited straight into the cell. And then the fat from the liposome helps repair the cell walls. So that's a very biggie. Now, we have 5 grams of marine collagen, and the absorption rate for this collagen is 73%. So we're talking more than 7 times the standard absorption rate. Now, the great thing about our collagen also, because of the absorption, because it's 5 grams, we are 10 days on, 20 days off, which means you take it for 10 days out of the month. It has substances in it that stimulate your body to produce its own collagen. So it regenerates the body's own collagen production and then brings it up to a very high level. And then you stop it for the next 20 days, which gives your body a chance to produce its own collagen. If all we do is put in a high level of collagen on a daily basis, there's no reason for your body to ever produce its own. And eventually it'll shut its production down to 0. We don't want that. Now, there is hyaluronic acid, which helps the joints. There's hydrolyzed keratin and biotin, which helps the hair, skin, nails, and the joints. And it has the pomegranate juice to help stimulate the body's own production of collagen. Now, back to the epigenetics. There is a 570% increase in the BDNF, the brain-derived neurotropic factor, which means healthy cognition again. And there is 117% increase in what's called the P-para, which is for energy production and supports human health. And Lori, I think we have a testimony.
We sure do. I'm going to turn it over to Jim. Welcome.
Hi there. I think that, well, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's collagen that did this. If I was more tech savvy, I could have figured out how to show the pictures on here of me in November and me now. Well, you see me now, but my hair's color is coming back, and my hair all over was as gray as my beard is. And it is not, well, you can see it's not now. The other thing about the collagen I noticed first off was, and it was shortly after I started taking it, the bags under my eyes I used to refer to as suitcases, and now they're pretty. They're I mean they show my age, I guess. I'm 73, but and I was talking to my son last night about this Zoom and telling him I was going to talk about the collagen because, and he noticed the color in my hair is getting darker. And he said, "Well, Dad, just look at your beard and your mustache. It's never been that full." And I, as I've said before, I've never been very observant. I went in right away into the mirror and I thought, well, it's taken me 73 years to get what I wanted on my face. Anyway, that's my story.
Thank you very much, Jim. And I'm sure anybody else who opts to try it will see some decent results as well.
Yeah.
Lori,
What a
I think
fantastic product. Look at that. Jim, you got to lean your head down a little bit. Let go like this. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, that is amazing. Congrats. It's
I
great.
think we can go on to our next product.
Okay. It's great that we have such amazing products that are helping people in so many different ways. I just love learning about these products. So our next product is Revive. I like to call these the little orange magic beans. These help with inflammation, any type of inflammation that someone may have. These are going to help with. These are I like to take these now. I've personally, Doc Brett, I've replaced ibuprofen with this. I didn't used to realize how bad ibuprofen was for me and that it was really tearing up my gut. And now that I realize that and have personally replaced it with this, I feel much better. My gut doesn't have the issues it was having. I love knowing that I have something that can help with certain things when I'm having inflammation in my body, but not tear up my stomach. So back to you.
Thank you very much, Lori. And we already said, or mentioned that I was involved in a rather severe motor vehicle accident. And I've been through multiple surgeries. And there was a period of time in my life following the accident that I was living on anti-inflammatories such as ibuprofen and narcotic pain medication. And I finally made the decision that I had to get off of those medications. Um, the ibuprofen doesn't only affect your gut, it affects your kidneys. And that is the main reason why I had to get off the ibuprofen, because it started affecting my kidneys. This product is one of the main reasons why I no longer take any non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, and I no longer take any prescription narcotic pain medication. I've been offered it. It's been recommended that I take it, but I say thank you, but no thank you. I have something better. And that's our Revive. Now, again, our Revive is liposomal delivered. So it's very high absorption. It has a 30% absorption rate, which is 3 times the norm. Now, there is liposomal curcumin and turmeric, which are the main components of the Revive. And turmeric and curcumin are very poorly absorbed molecules. Again, you're lucky if you get an 8 to 10% absorption from your standard products. Now, in addition to the curcumin and turmeric, we have boswellia, which is good for stiffness and muscles, black cumin seed oil, shiitake mushroom, sea buckthorn, acai fruit extract, grapeseed extract, sea buckthorn fruit oil, and piperine and menthol, as well as ginger. These all help the gut biome. They all help support healthy joints, eases muscle stiffness, promotes exercise recovery, and counteracts the effects of free radicals. Now, this has an epigenetic study done on it, and it shows a 293% increase in GLP-1. So we now have two products, the Vitalité and the Revive, that dramatically increase your body's own natural GLP-1. There's a 430% increase in that BDNF, the brain cognition factors again. Now, this is a biggie. This is why I and yourself are able to not take ibuprofen. There is a 123% decrease in IL-6, which is the inflammatory marker. So we don't want an increase in inflammation. We want a decrease. And this shows 123% decrease in the inflammation marker. Lori, I think we have a good testimony.
We sure do. I'm just writing away here. I'm just taking notes, taking notes. We sure do. I'm going to turn it over to Corrine. Welcome, Corrine.
Thank you. I think I said I was from Edmonton, but I'm from a farm up by West Monk, so can you tell I was nervous? I have been using 3 supplements for the 2 years that 2 years plus that 3 has been around, and I've had some amazing results. And so I knew that this stuff worked. And then in March of last year, I got a really bad infection on my leg, around my ankle. March of 24. It started on one side and it just kind of worked its way around, and it was pussing and leaking. I had to go to home care to get the dressing changed. They didn't want me to change it because they wanted to keep track of the progress or the lack of progress. So it just wasn't getting better, and it started getting worse. And at its worst, I had 6 open holes in maybe a 2.5 inch square on my leg. They were like about a 1/2 inch across and a third to a 1/2 inch deep. It just looked like a mouse was eating them or something, like holes, leaky, pussy holes. And I mean, the doctors were doing what they could do, and telling me what to do. I wasn't telling them actually that I was taking my supplements faithfully. I just thought they would not like it. So I thought, whatever, what you don't know won't hurt you, and it will help me. So anyway, but it hurt so bad. It was like a 9 out of 10. So I was taking ibuprofen, but I couldn't get the 6 hours before I took more extra strength ibuprofen. So they told me add in Tylenol. So I was faithfully taking every 4 hours, 2 extra strength Tylenol, 2 extra strength ibuprofen around the clock. And yeah, it still, okay, that kept the pain in touch, but it wasn't getting better. And I thought, well, I mean, 3 works. Why is this not working? And then in end of November, you brought Dr. Phil on, then started bringing all these medical health people onto Wednesday Wellness. And Dr. Phil talked about the ibuprofen and Tylenol, how bad they are. And I thought, I mean, I knew they affected your liver and your kidney, but I mean, I actually was my own worst enemy. I refused to take the Purify because I needed the painkillers. I needed them. I couldn't even stop taking them if I had a good afternoon, because then I'd pay for it later, you know, so I had to keep it in their level, lots of it. And here's Dr. Phil telling us, well, I mean, I knew it would affect your liver and but I thought, well, it's going to get better. It's going to get better, right? I keep taking my supplements. But then he starts saying that one of them drains the glutathione, and the other one, I don't want to quote what he said because I know that he said one drains your glutathione and the other drains the collagen. I was already doubling up on the 3 supplements that had that because it's going to heal me, right? And here he's telling me that my painkillers are draining this stuff, and I wasn't taking Purify because I needed it. So it took me a day or so once I thought it through, and I took the ibuprofen and the Tylenol, and I started taking Revive. I mean, I knew it was an anti-inflammatory, and that was kind of what I didn't really know it was a painkiller. Well, I didn't know it was a painkiller. So I thought, well, okay, if he says so, I'll try it. So I checked the Tylenol and ibuprofen and started taking 4 doses a day of Revive. So 4 times a day, I was taking 2 every 6 hours. I set my clock to go with it. I still kept taking all my other supplements and the glutathione and everything. And one more secret, not to do with Revive, but he talked about somebody who put the Visage serum on some pussy hand, somebody in his office. That was, I think it was a difference, not this first night, but in the first couple of weeks. And I thought, well, what have I got to lose? This is not getting better, right? It's just getting worse. So I tried that. I mean, it stung for a few minutes and then it didn't. But like within a day, I thought I have turned a corner, but I wasn't telling anybody because the doctors and the nurses didn't know I was taking all this other stuff, which they probably thought was crap. That I did 5 doses of antibiotics that they gave me, 2 intravenous ones, and it wasn't working. But within days, it was working. Within a month, these deep holes had closed. It was still hurting inside. I'm still taking 2 Revive twice a day instead of 4 times a day, but it's closed. Not exactly smooth. It's a little rough, but it helped. And my infection is gone. And I haven't been back to healthcare to get my wraps since February. So 11-month infection healed within weeks when I started taking Revive and Visage. That's it. Pretty good.
Thank you very much, Corrine. And you brought up some great points. And I will say this, that because our products are all plant-based, all except for the omegas, there is no such thing as overdosing. So when we do have a rough spot, you're in a little bit more pain or discomfort, you can go ahead and take a little extra and it's not going to harm you. The other great thing is, because you made the comment that the doctors don't want you to take something else, that's usually because they don't know about non-pharmaceuticals. They get all the education in the world on pharmaceuticals, but not non-pharmaceuticals. So unless they are more into a natural remedy and go out on their own and gain the knowledge, it's a whole lot easier just to say, don't take this, because they don't know.
Yeah.
The other thing is our products are highly absorbed. So they do what they're supposed to do. And Lori, I guess we can go on to our next product.
Yes. Wow. What a powerful testimonial. That was incredible. And I love, Doc Brett, how you shared, doctors they're trained in pharmaceuticals. They're not trained in nutraceuticals. And I think that's really important for us to realize and understand there is a distinction there between those two. So really important. One of the things that Corrine mentioned, I just want to highlight real quick is we do have a skincare line, and within that skincare line, there is a well, we have a cleanser, we have a toner, and we also have a serum that, they found there's a skin-brain connection, and you put this on your skin. It helps you look good, but it also gives you a hit of dopamine, and it helps you feel better. When Corrine was sharing how she put a little bit of this serum, this was what she was talking about. So we do have a skincare line, and there is also a moisturizer to seal all that goodness in. So I know we're focusing tonight on the supplements, but I did want everyone to know that we do have an incredible skincare line as well. And our next supplement that we're going to talk about is called Purify. And this is a gentle detox. I want to stress the word gentle, and it's going to detox your liver, lungs, colon, kidney, and skin. So back to you, Doc Brett.
Okay, Lori, and I will add one other thing based on the education of pharmaceutical versus non-pharmaceutical, and that is, if you're considering taking one of our products and you want to go to your doctor and say, I'd like to get your input, you can turn to your doctor and say, I'm thinking about taking these. Can you take a look at this and give me your opinion? And you can tell them, you can go to the PDR, which is the physician's digital reference, and you can look it up. And you can then go watch their eyes bug out, because it is very rare for a non-pharmaceutical product to be in the PDR, let alone just about every single one of the company's products. So that being said, we'll go on to the Purify. Now, the Purify, like Lori said, detoxifies the 5 main organ systems of the body, being the liver, the lungs, the kidneys, the colon, and the skin. So for anybody that is dealing with some type of health issue regarding one of those organs, especially in the case of, and we can't go totally into it, an autoimmune disorder, which is basically your own body attacking itself. We want these organs to be as tip-top shape as we can get them. So being that we're bombarded by all kinds of toxins, both from the outside environment and with things we use ourselves, take a shower with the soaps that we use, hairsprays, you name it, it's potentially got a toxin that's getting into our body and affecting our organs. So the Purify detoxifies these organs and lets them function more closely to the way they're supposed to. Now, this Purify has an 88% absorption rate, which is almost 9 times standard absorption. Now, if you look at the capsules, these capsules are green. And the reason that they're green is they contain chlorophyll, which means there's chlorophyll in it, and the chlorophyll itself is a detoxifier. So the capsules themselves help with detoxification. Now, there's fulvic acid, which removes heavy metals, such as mercury and aluminum, which are neurotoxic. There's liposomal delivered milk thistle, which helps support and detoxify the liver. There are herbs which help detoxify the kidneys. There's kelp and apple pectin, which help detoxify the colon. And then there's coriander leaf and dandelion root. which help increase nutrient absorption, and it helps support a healthy body weight. Now, most people can't go through fasting periods, and fasting alone does not get rid of the impurities that are already in these organs. The only way to do that is to give the body something that's going to make your organs kick out and release the toxins. So we'll go ahead and go on with our next testimony.
All right. I'm going to turn over to Denise. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Denise from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And the product I'm talking about is Purify. We went camping a couple of weeks ago. And after supper, my daughter brought out strawberries and blueberries, and I ate one strawberry. Half an hour later, hives to the point I thought I'd die scratching, like I could not stop. The ER was a half an hour away, so I didn't want anyone to drive me. Anyway, it was a terrible night. The next day I got back in and took Purify 2 days, and it got rid of all of the hives, all of the itching. Yeah, I was truly amazed. Great product.
Thank you very much, Denise. This kind of reaction or result is very common. We say we're not going to generalize, and we won't.
Yeah.
But people see unbelievable reactions. Now, one thing I will say, people do look to try to detoxify,
Mhm.
and then they get invited to go someplace and they say, oh no, I can't do that, because they're afraid to leave their home, because they're afraid to be away from the bathroom.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
great thing about our Purify is it is a gentle
Mhm.
detoxification. It is not an overload. It is not going to cause, I would say, in my experience, and in most cases, it is not going to cause a liquefaction of your stool so that you have to worry that you can't leave your house. They are basically normal stools, and you have plenty of warning, just as you normally do if you don't take a detoxifier, that it's time to visit the bathroom. So with that being said, Lori, we can go on to our next product.
I love your way of explaining that. Fantastic. And yep, you could still wear white pants if you wanted. Our next product is Imúne, and this product helps to do just that. It's going to help boost our immune system. And who doesn't need a little boost, right? Right, Dr. Brett?
For sure, we all do. In fact, my daughter was home from school, and we just took her back this past Friday, and she had been feeling under the weather, and this is one product that I handed her, and I actually had her taking 2 of them 3 to 4 times a day, and she's feeling significantly better. Now, the Imúne has a 44% absorption rate, so almost 4.5 times the normal rate. And again, this is a micronized and hydrolyzed product. Now, just a little bit of quick education. Our bodies have 2 types of defense system. We have an innate defense system, which is what we're basically born with. And then we have an adaptive immunity. Now, the innate immunity is always on guard, whereas the adaptive immunity is for specific defenders. So when people say that they got an immunization for something such as chicken pox or what have you, their body builds up an adaptive immunity. That is not an innate immunity. The substances within the immune that help with the innate immunity are elderberry, vitamin D3, vitamin E, calcium, and aloe vera, vitamin C, and zinc. Now, this also has liposomal delivered quercetin. Now, this is very important because in order for bacteria and viruses to infect the body, they have to be able to communicate with each other in order to multiply. If you isolate them and prevent their communication, they can't multiply and therefore they can't make you sick. And the liposomal delivered quercetin is very big on this isolating of the bacteria and viruses. Now, we also have trace minerals, vitamin A, selenium, which help with the adaptive immunity. The trace minerals are adaptogenic, and they help support the healthy immune response. And again, it enhances the gut microbiome. The gut microbiome is responsible for 80% of the body's total immunity. Now, as I said, 80% of the immune system is in the gut. So if we keep our gut healthy, we keep our immune system healthy. Lori, I believe we have a good testimony.
We sure do. Welcome, Judy.
Hi, I'm Judy Baggett from Alberta. And yes, I like Imúne, and I like Imúne for a couple of different reasons. First of all, whenever I get a little bit of a sniffle or a sore throat or just feeling yucky, I double up on the Imúne, and next morning I wake up no problem whatsoever. Also, I really like it when I'm traveling, especially getting on airplanes. I've been I'm scheduled for an airplane on Monday, so I have been all week long doubling up on my Imúne because I just go into a foreign country. I want to make sure I'm healthy. I also noticed it with my husband. My husband's in a long-term care facility, and there's always something going around where they're on lockdown. You know, they can't. One patient gets something, and so they're in isolation, and then everybody on that ward gets it. But you know, as soon as I see somebody like that that's in isolation, I again double up the Imúne for him, and he doesn't catch it. Only once has he ever got anything where they were at it for 2.5 weeks or more. He got it for 3 days, and then he was out of isolation. So I can't say enough about Imúne. I won't be without it. And I always add extra to my suitcase when I'm going, just in case. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Judy, for your testimony. And Lori, I think we can go on to our next.
Our next product is Éternal, and I love that this is a super blend antioxidant. It's liquid form. You're just going to shake it up, drink it down. It's got a lot of glutathione, a lot of resveratrol. Those I know are buzzwords. I do believe, Doc Brett, that glutathione is very hard for our body to absorb, and we absorb it big time with this little packet. So this is a powerhouse packet.
Yes, it is, Lori. And yes, glutathione is extremely difficult to absorb. Our body unfortunately stops making it at a fairly young age. So people look to supplement this. Glutathione is one of the most powerful antioxidants that's available. And people nowadays are getting IV glutathione. And we get a 95% absorption with this product, which means almost 10 times the standard absorption. So you don't need intramuscular injections or IV therapy. You can just drink down a packet of the Éternal. Now, this, like you said, destroys free radicals. It's the primary antioxidant of the body, and it can help the body regenerate its own glutathione. There are 10 superfoods and superfruits, and like you said, there is 200 milligrams of resveratrol in the glutathione. Well, in order to get that much resveratrol, you would have to drink about 200 glasses of wine. Well, the cardiologist may recommend a glass or two at most a night, but they're not going to tell you to drink 200 glasses of wine. I guarantee you, if you get pulled over, will be going into jail with handcuffs on if you drink 200 glasses of wine. This also has 1.6 grams of marine collagen. So we're not talking as high of a amount of collagen as in the collagen. So taking this on a daily basis, we don't have to worry that we're going to shut down the body's own production. Now, epigenetic study was done on this, and this shows a 380% increase in the P-para, which is for the healthy energy. And as far as inflammation goes, there is a 1,250% decrease in the IL-6, the inflammatory marker. And it has a decrease of 345% of another inflammatory marker, the NF-κB. So the great thing about this is it tastes great, easy to take, and has great effects on our body. Lori, I think we have a great testimony.
We sure do. Welcome, Tracy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tracy Gillette, and I live in Fort Mojave, Arizona, and it's about 100 and something degrees tonight, so I'm constantly in the sun. So I started taking Éternal because I was vain, pretty much. You know, I had collagen in it, and I had the collagen and more collagen, and I like wine and can't drink, like he said, as much wine. And I had an accident where I broke my tibia, my fibula, and my ankle, both sides. So I had these gnarly scars from the surgery. And I have a tattoo that shows, and I'm like, I'll just, tattoo it down low. I was on a phone call with somebody, and they were talking about Éternal and scars. And I started rubbing my ankle, and I was like, oh my gosh, all my scars with keloid. Well, they were flat. And then, so right now, I have on my left side, you can't even see a scar. And on my right side, you can only see like a little tan line, which is incredible. My chicken pox scars, I got bit by a dog, that scar's gone. And what was even more amazing is because I have metal in my ankle gets stiff when it's really, really, really cold. And like I said, I was just taking it because I like the, the collagen. And all of a sudden my ankle didn't feel stiff. So I asked someone that knows stuff more than I do. And I go, is it my imagination? And they said, no, there's anti-inflammatory in that too. So God did it for one thing, got blessed by another.
Thank you very much, Tracy, for that testimony. And Lori, I think we have another great product.
We sure do. This is our Kynetik product. I love this bright box that it comes in, and this box just says it all. I think it's clean energy, and I feel like the box is energized. And in this box, there's 30 little sticks, and it's almost, anyone ever eat a pixie stick when they're a kid? You know, you rip it open and, well, you don't do that. I mean, you could do that. It'd be a little bit potent, but you open this up and you put it into your water, mix it up, or you can put it in a water bottle and shake it. Or I guess you really could eat it like a pixie stick, but like I said, it'd be a little potent. But this is going to give you clean energy. I love that it's clean energy. And I'm just going to read directly off the box. It says no taurine, no sugar, no sucralose, no aspartame. And that is really important. I just started realizing how bad those things are. Specifically, I was realizing how bad aspartame is, and that's something that I've chosen to work really hard at cutting out of my diet. So back to you.
Thank you very much, Lori. And yes, Kynetik is our newest product. It's a little more than a month old at this point. So unfortunately, being as new as it is not yet in the PDR, but I'm sure it will be there soon. Now, as you said, this is natural, clean energy. It has 200 milligrams of clean plant-based caffeine. Now, if you want to make a comparison to a cup of Starbucks coffee, you're looking at about 240 milligrams of caffeine. So we're at about 40 less. Your not so healthy energy drinks are somewhere in the 240, 250 or higher range for the caffeine. And it's got a lot of unhealthy other stuff, such as the sucralose, the sugar, and a lot of these energy drinks at least were harping on the taurine. Well, recent scientific studies have been done that show that taurine, unfortunately, has been linked to leukemia. So we don't want that going into our bodies. And I personally have had conversations with several people that I saw carrying an energy drink. And I immediately said to them, you might want to try something healthier. And when I said, and it doesn't have taurine in it, they looked at me and said, what's wrong with taurine? That's supposed to be good. I said, yes, it has potential benefits, but it has a very big negative. And when I told him about the negative, it was like he looked at what he had in his hand and away it went. The Kynetik has a sensual B vitamin complex, which means it has vitamin B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, which is biotin, B9, and B12. Now, the important thing with the B12 that is in the Kynetik, there's two forms of vitamin B12. There's cyanocobalamin, and then there's methylated B12. So methylcobalamin. Well, a lot of people don't realize or know that the cyano comes from cyanide. So there are minute quantities, nothing that obviously is going to harm you as far as killing you, in cyanocobalamin. Anything that has that cyano has a very, very small amount of cyanide, basically. Excuse me. Our B12 is the methylated form, which is much more readily absorbable than the cyanocobalamin, which is why people who are B12 deficient wind up needing to take B12 injections, because B12 is not very well absorbed, and the only way to bypass the GI tract and prevent its destruction is to inject it, either in most cases intramuscularly, and in much rarer cases IV infusion. Now, there is also L-theanine in this. There's an electrolyte blend of 4 essential electrolytes, being sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. They help your body absorb fluids more effectively, and they maintain cellular communication and help you stay energized. There's great polyphenols and rosavins from rhodiola, which helps brain support, helps a positive mood, and helps fight adrenal fatigue and burnout. The caffeine comes from green tea extract, and this also helps with instant hydration. And like you said, there's no taurine, no sugar, no aspartame, and no sucralose. And there's also no artificial colors or flavors. So, Lori, I believe we have a testimony.
We sure do. Welcome, Judy.
Hi, my name is Judy Baggett, and I'm from Edmonton area, Alberta, Canada. And I like the Kynetik. I had to make a trip back to Saskatchewan here, which is a good 6-hour drive for me. And for the last 20 years, I've not made this trip all by myself, simply because I can't stay awake. I mean, that's just the way it is. I drive for an hour and I'm just dozing off. So I didn't, as long as I got somebody with me to talk to me, fine. But when I'm all by myself, I can't stay awake. So I thought, oh, I'm kind of scared to do this trip. And yet I had to do it and I had nobody with me. I took this Kynetik and I had package first thing in the morning. I mixed it up in a drink and I drank it first thing in the morning when I left. And then I had another one later on. I never got one little bit tired all the way. I did the 6 hours. I had still another 2 hours to go. I stopped at the 6 hours and spent it with my brother, but I could have very well drove the entire 8 hours without staying over. I could have. I was that alert. And not tired, alert, felt hydrated, just really felt good, energized and focused, like I didn't, it was wonderful. And so coming home was the same way. And I had my Kynetik. So with Kynetik now, hey, I'm on the road. I don't have any problems. I can go where I want to go without having somebody come along to babysit me and keep me awake. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your testimony, Judy. And Lori, I turn it back to you.
Okay, wow. Wow. How amazing was this? I love everything that you shared, Doc Brett. I love all the testimonials. It was a very, very informative, powerful night with so much valuable information. I have a plethora of notes here, And I love that, again, that this is recorded. So anybody that wants to go back and re-listen to something, you're able to do that, because again, so much valuable information, so many things that can help us to age gracefully, can help us to, feel a little bit better. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? I love hearing all this information and all of these testimonials. So a huge thank you to you, Doc Brett. A huge thank you to Kathy and Jim, Corrine, Denise, Judy, and Tracy. We appreciate you guys all sharing those fantastic testimonials about the products. And here's the thing, guys. Again, I mentioned at the beginning of this Zoom, you can get these products into your hands, and you can do it at paying retail price, or you can pay wholesale price. If you want to pay wholesale, ask the person who invited you on the Zoom, how can I get these in my hand and pay wholesale pricing? I need to get my hands on these products. I would like to feel better. I would like to have my own testimonial about these products. Let me tell you, these are changing people's lives. I have to say, I have never bought something from, a box store. Box store, I mean Walmart, Walgreens, I've never bought a supplement from a box store that I was like, wow, that really did something for me. I cannot tell you that I have that testimonial, but I have a testimonial on each one of these products, some way that they have helped me in my life. And you heard from several different people all across the country sharing how these products have helped them personally. And Doc Brett gave so much valuable information on why, how these products work, what's in them, what's not in them. A lot of times it's not just what's in them, it's what's not in them that's super important, because we don't want things like taurine and things. We don't want that kind of stuff, and the sucralose. And you guys, it's just so important that we have good things that are getting into our bodies. So who's thinking, man, not only do I want to take these products, I know some other people I need to refer. I need to not gatekeep. I need to tell people about these products. And is there any way that I could get a little kickback for doing that? Absolutely. You could create, a retirement fund. You could create a travel fund. There's all kinds of things you could do if you'd like to. And you can go as small or as big as you'd like. It's just really up to you. And how big do you want to do that? How big do you want those funds to become? Completely up to you. So if you're interested in that side of things, there's going to be an amazing woman sharing tomorrow night how you can do just that. How could I create enough money to pay for these products? How could I create enough money to have a travel fund, to have a retirement fund, to have a fun fund? How about that? How can I do that? Well, she's going to be sharing tomorrow evening. There's going to be a Zoom for 30 minutes. If you'd like that link and jump on that Zoom for 30 minutes tomorrow evening, let the person know who invited you on here tonight. Not only do I want to order these products at wholesale pricing, I'd like to jump on that Zoom tomorrow evening and find out how I could turn this possibly into a side business and make some side income. So with that, I want to thank each and every one of you for jumping on tonight. Again, I want to thank our special guest speaker, Dr. Brett Rosman, and again, all of the testimonials for sharing this evening. I want to wish each of you a lot of health and a lot of happiness, great health and lots of happiness. So with that, have a great evening.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.